this next problem, we want to prove that cotangent 2x equals to 1 minus tangent squared x over 2 tangent x. And, well, we know, first of all, we know that cotangent 2x is the reciprocal of tangent. So this would be 1 over tangent 2x. And we also know that tangent, so we're going to go ahead and change this to 1 over tangent 2x equals to our right hand side. And we also know that tangent 2x is equal to 2 tangent x over 1 minus tangent squared x. So we're going to change this tangent 2x to 1 over 2 tangent x over 1 minus tangent squared x. So now all we have to do is apply the reciprocal to that. In other words, 1 divided by 2 tangent x over 1 minus tangent squared x. Flip and multiply, right? And we get 1 times 1 minus tangent squared x over 2 tangent x, and that is our right hand side. And we're done with that. Okay, here we have sine to the 4th power x minus cosine to the 4th power x, and we want to prove that that equals to a negative cosine 2x. Well, we're all familiar with x to the 4th minus y to the 4th. If we change that to x squared parentheses squared minus y squared parentheses squared, and then we have the difference of 2 squares, x squared minus y squared and x squared plus y squared. And then this, we can even factor that again if we wanted to. Well, we can do that here with sine and cosine. So we're going to make this sine squared x parentheses squared minus cosine squared x parentheses squared. And so that factors out to sine squared x minus cosine squared x times sine squared x plus cosine squared x. And so the sine x plus cosine x, that becomes 1. And we also know that with cosine 2x, that equals to cosine squared x minus sine squared x. But what we have is sine squared x minus cosine squared x. Okay, so if we factored out, so let's look at this. We get this becomes 1, right? And this is what we've got. We've got sine squared x minus cosine squared x, and that other side, the sine squared x plus cosine squared x, that becomes 1. Now we want to get cosine squared x minus sine squared x. So if we factored out a negative 1, And now we've got negative 1 times cosine squared x minus sine squared x. Now that becomes a minus cosine 2x, and that equals to our right hand side. And that's what we wanted. Okay, one more to go. And that involves where we have something similar to the last one we just did.